Now, we're living through an extraordinary period in American and international relations, politics. For whatever my opinion is worth, we cannot reform the campuses through a struggle abstracted from the larger political struggles. I'm among those who was cheered by the Tea Party movement, which seems to me a genuinely spontaneous movement. But I know the difference between the genuine and the fake. You see, 60 years ago, I won my spurs as a young communist organizer who had a perfect genius for organizing spontaneous demonstrations. At this moment, the Tea Party movement's greatest strength is potentially its greatest weakness. It has emerged largely as a tax revolt and a rejection of the centralization of power in Washington. And no sane person can fail to agree that our national debt is as frightening as it is ludicrous. But the Tea Party movement, like the Republican Party, faces a mounting contradiction, which it must transcend if it is to have a future. No doubt, tax relief is essential to stimulate business, especially small and middling business, which, as we know, creates most of the jobs. And yet, we have to be careful because we face a greater threat. The United States is fighting two wars on the ground and a larger amorphous war on terror. Yeah, I'm among those who takes the war on terror very seriously. The left has a simple solution: cut and run from international responsibilities, support the vilest of tyrannies, let the Iranians have their nuclear weapons, let the neighboring Arab states have a deadly nuclear arms race if they want one, and as for Israel, that's not our concern. An Iranian mullah recently sneered that Israel was a one-bomb country. He was unquestionably right. And after all, what's a few million more dead Jews among friends? In Iran and beyond, we confront Islamic fanatics who will proudly die for their cause. And let's respect them for that. And who will see their country destroyed before they capitulate to Western civilization. And since Obama came on the scene, they know perfectly well they are dealing with a paper tiger. The sanctions gambit played out a long time ago, and the attempt to maintain it would be wildly funny were it not pathetic. Now, how exactly, under these conditions, do we avoid a general war for Southwest Asia? It's practically upon us already. I mean, a war from Palestine and Lebanon to Pakistan. How exactly do we pay for it? Even more troubling, how do we mobilize the necessary manpower to fight such a war? To prevail, the United States must constantly be prepared for a protracted war. I've condemned the left for instilling in our youth a sense that nothing is worth dying for. But what can we say of the right? If all it has to offer is the free market and unbridled individualism, what can it teach about social responsibility? About the need for sacrifice? About the solemn duty to risk your life for your country, or better, your civilization? Being ready for wider wars, and I don't enjoy them any more than any of you do, don't misunderstand me. Being ready for wider wars may well require reinstatement of the draft. I know that conservatives don't want to even think about it, and the left is absolutely opposed. But if this level of international violence continues and continues to threaten us directly, we better think about it. And incidentally, I'm one of those who wants a draft without the class privilege of college deferments. Students who reject the pseudo-pacifist demagogy of the left, or who have nothing to put in its place except self-serving illusions of individual autonomy, are not likely to rush to the front lines. These contradictions can be overcome by a movement that is not limited to the campuses, but on the contrary, where the campuses are recognized as merely one front in a large war. And here the question is how we are going to instill in our students the sense that they do have maximum responsibilities, and that includes the readiness to risk their lives. We heard last night that our freedom depends ultimately on God. I believe that. I believe that. But that means we have to break the back of the ideological and political war that's being waged against Christianity and religion in general on our campuses. That means returning every blow against our academic freedom and fighting for academic standards. In short, it is the adults, the larger movement in the country, which must assume responsibility not for fighting the wars of the students. They'll do fine by themselves, but of guaranteeing them maximum support in what they have to do. Thank you.